Already.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
I'm Laurie.
I'm Elle.
And this is
The Cynical Therapist.
We just love to do that in unison.
I think it's good. It's like
In
stereo
unison.
therapists.
So today we were talking about something yesterday, so we're going to talk about loss aversion.
Before you get bored by the economic
Okay,
words.
We have to do the disclaimer.
Yes, that is the disclaimer. This is not therapy.
Or economics training.
Oh my god, I would never do that to you.
I might.
That's her.
This is not therapy, so if you need help when you're listening to this video or watching this video, please find a therapist, reach out to a friend,
Hit up
schedule an
Psychology
appointment.
Today.
This is just two therapists talking about random things. This is not therapy.
Nope. Or you would be paying for it.
Yes.
It would be expensive.
No free
But
therapy.
this is the freebie, the commercial break. So we were talking yesterday. We were actually at lunch and we were talking about different things to talk about today on the podcast or the vlog or whatever awful word you want to attach to it. And what we discovered is we have kind of a common theme in a lot of our clients and a lot of the people that we care about, which is some people don't leave when the leaving's good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people stay.
Whether that's like a relationship
Yeah,
or work
or a house
Yeah.
or a job. A job's a big one too, especially I feel like women struggle with standing up for ourselves, and I mean, not just women, but most of the women that I've known struggle standing up for themselves in a managerial role or standing up to a boss that's maybe a little bit pushier.
Yeah.
And so we kind of put up with things that are convenient, you know, a lot longer than we should.
Yeah, which is, and we were just looking it up, so loss aversion is the word for it, but we'll stay stuck, or we'll stay in stuff that we maybe know right in the back of our heads, or we know somewhere, like this doesn't feel how I think it's supposed to feel.
Totally. I'm not getting
But
the joy.
the fear of the loss, the fear of leaving, especially if it's a job or a relationship, you know, the fear of either losing that income or losing that person.
Or actually losing the future that you plan with the person, I think is the fantasy. And everybody hears, you know, the devil you know is worse than the devil you don't know. The grass is always greener. Those kinds of things are actually allegories that we kind of put into our lives to dismiss that loss aversion fear, where it's like, essentially, I know you all have been told that you could do better, and this is essentially us saying, yeah, absolutely, you can do better.
Yeah, and I always say, because people will ask, whether it's a friend or in therapy, kind of like, how do I know? And I think when there's anxiety involved, anxiety and fear, it's always good to check in with that and make sure that it's not a good thing that you're kind of running away from. So I always tell people, if you don't know what to do, don't do anything.
Totally. You don't have to.
Like, just sit in it, let's keep talking about it, let's keep figuring out what the best move is, because when you don't act out of anxiety, you're not going to have as much, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, right?
Yeah, regret.
So you could leave and then you could go back.
Or you can actually make an educated decision based on neutral third-party input or people who care about you. I think of a lot of the jobs that I've had that just weren't good enough for me, but I was just so, I don't want to say brainwashed, but encouraged to always have a job. And I've had a job since I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
So I've always worked, and work is part of that, you know, that, I don't even know what the word would be, that I need to be proud of myself. In order to be proud of myself, I have to be able to make money, right? And I don't know if anybody else was socialized that way, but that's the way I felt. That's if I'm not working, even though I have children, if I'm not working, then I'm not worth much.
Yeah.
And also that I like to have my own money, so that's a big piece of it. But because I have so many children, I don't have that much money.
And we talked about that. We've talked about, like, that needing to be, you know, like the poor mentality or right, that
Scarcity.
So do you think that comes, like, so knowing your worth by the job, do you think that comes from a good place, a bad place? Like, what kind of place do you think that comes from?
I don't learn from, like, flowers and rainbows. I learn from terrifying failure and humiliation.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes for me. But I don't have that, like, I don't get, like, fired and then I'm like, this is so good for me. It's more like, it takes me a minute to lick my wounds and I'll hide away and then reinvent myself. And usually the reinvention is the bonus. Had I not moved out, had I not given the opportunity to resign, I would not have that moment where I'm like, wait a minute, why am I sad about this?
Yeah.
Like, I could totally do better, and I need to have whatever that is, that revving of my engine to be like, hey, let's.
Well, and that's a really like beautiful way to look at it. Is the loss is hard, and you have to grieve the loss of whatever that is.
For sure.
But the reinvention, and when you come out of that, is when something really beautiful happens.
Replaceable. Except for like our very important relationships, and no matter where I've worked, I've been replaceable. I felt like I wasn't, but then when I was replaced, it was like, shit, all right, well, maybe I'm not as valuable as I thought. Or, in the same token, maybe they don't value me the way I value me. Maybe I need to find a spot where I can be valued the way I deserve to be valued for my specific skill set.
Yeah. And I think that is something, and why it's called loss aversion. Staying in something for too long, I would say especially relationships. I think, we don't leave because of the fear, right? We wait for somebody to then break up with us.
Right.
Or,
we try to work on it because my feelings are hurt because I didn't get to break up with you. Right, let's work on it until I get the opportunity to leave you so I can feel empowered.
You're gonna break up with me, I'm gonna break up with you.
You can fire me, I quit.
I know we were just in the thing about you firing me, but I am quitting.
I quit. I resign. It's true.
Resigns.
Walk me to my car, my box of whatever.
Here, hold on to this.
Right? Here, I have a finger for you.
I wonder why loss aversion's a thing, why we try to avoid losing.
I think it's safety. I think we're socialized to, if things are okay, why rock the boat? Why disrupt it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's more of those allegories where it's like, there's all these little stories that we hear where it's like, you left that $12 an hour job, you're so ungrateful that an uneducated guy who's out there with a sign trying to feed his family would be so grateful for that job. Hold on to that job, even though you could do better, because it's the right thing to do, and you are an adult jobs. It's
that comparison with other people, sure.
Where I don't deserve great things, I just deserve enough to get by.
Yeah.
But there's also that piece where it's like, you don't really have faith in yourself that you're going to do something better. And I think
that something better is going to come along.
Totally. But that's what failure does. Failure actually creates the environment where you have the opportunity to create evidence to support the fact that you're not a complete shit show and you're not a failure and that you can do better.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Sure.
It's not always like cut and dry. Like, oh, you get fired, and then the next day you're like, oh my gosh, I get to work here, my dream job. No, it doesn't work that way, guys. I'm not saying it's all rainbows, but I do feel like there's a lesson to be learned in every complicated situation. And until you learn it, that lesson continues to appear over and over again with different faces and different curriculum. But it's the same fucking lesson that you have to learn until you learn it.
Until you learn it, which can take years.
Mm-hmm. And many relationships.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, that's so true.
It's a faith thing, I think. Not necessarily the faith in the higher power, but a faith in yourself, a faith in like your future, a faith in your support system.
Yeah.
Do you have a family that's gonna be like, that job sucks?
Yeah.
'Cause my husband's told me, fucking quit. Like over and over again. I'm like, I can't leave my client. You know what I mean? Like that. What would they do without me? Oh, they're totally fine. They moved on, everything is good. It might not have been the way I thought it would be or whatever, but everybody works out. It feels more important than it is because I felt more important than I was, I guess, at the time.
Yeah.
And maybe the lesson was that I'm not as significant as I think I am, which is always a good lesson for me. Seriously.
Get knocked off the high horse.
Like, stay down, woman.
What am I doing down there? The ego stuff.
Like tucking and rolling.
The ego stuff.
I'm good at it now. I'm more like, ooh, that stings, but it doesn't maim.
And if you have, I think it's actually good if you have loss aversion to specific things. So loss aversion to a job, loss aversion to relationships. The likelihood that you're coming from, if you have loss aversion to a job, that you're coming from a place of fear is probably pretty high.
Good point, scarcity.
And then same with relationship. If you have that loss aversion in relationships, it's probably like an attachment style thing, whether it's anxious avoidant or disorganized.
The little kid stuff, that's what I call it. That little kid stuff. If you are really holding on to a relationship that everybody knows is terrible for you, but you just don't want to fail. You don't want people to know that you don't have this perfect life and everybody's seeing you on Facebook and this amazing Instagram relationship or whatever. So you're staying in the relationship in order to please everybody around you. Jeez, that's crazy making, and that's also a really good time to go to therapy.
That's probably harder to discern in today's, like, with all the social media, because everybody's like, wow, your life looks great.
Right? Nice headshot, right?
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, no, it's not that great, you know. Not that anybody's gonna start posting really crappy stuff on that's happening to them.
Please do. Oh my gosh, that would change everything. That's kind of
Who
Twitter
likes
though.
that?
That's actually Twitter.
Is it?
Everything else is kind of more, fakey, fake.
You're the Twitter guru.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe
I do not tweet, but it's amazing. Like, I love following you and watching what you play, but I just like, you gotta really be into it.
Yeah,
you gotta be retweeting and you gotta be,
It's cultivating. It's like a farm. I have a sarcasm farm that I nurture.
That's amazing. And it's amazing.
I had no idea I would ever enjoy something like that, but now I meet so many funny people online. I'm like, oh my gosh, and you don't know who any of them are. That's the part I like, is the anonymity piece, which is pretty rad.
Yeah.
My sarcasm
No, that's true.
farm.
That's so good. So if somebody was dealing with loss aversion, like fear of losing something that they maybe have an inclination that they shouldn't continue to be in.
So I think about it like this, okay? So this is like if you get, your Amazon deal of the day, and I don't know how you feel about Amazon. Some people are like diametrically opposed to Amazon, but just this once, listen to my example. Your Amazon deal of the day is you get $5 off of your purchase, but it's gonna cost you $5 to ship it.
Okay.
Or free shipping, but it costs $5 more. What are you more likely to do?
Free shipping.
Right. Same fucking thing. That's the loss aversion, right? I don't want to pay more. I don't want you to rip me off, but I mean, it's free shipping.
Yeah.
That's the economic piece. That's the psychological piece.
I wonder if that's the work too, because if you're in a relationship that's kind of working, right?
That's $5 off.
That's $5
right?
off, yeah.
There's only $5 of problems.
But if you have to leave that relationship to work to get into a new one, because dating is so crappy now. It's the worst. It was probably always the worst, but it just feels way worse now.
It feels more like sport now, where it's like there is like a type of dating where it's like sport, and that freaks me out.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with that. Like, oh my gosh, thank God that's over, right?
Yeah.
So I would rather have my $5 worth of problems and have to invest the $5 into a dating scene, or moving into a new apartment, or giving up those tickets to that concert you guys bought. So you're kind of like staying together because you have these plans. Oh, it's almost the holidays, right? And I don't want to tell my family that we're not together anymore. $5 off, $5 off,
I need
$5
someone
off.
over the holidays.
Yes, right? I know he gets me good shit.
We'll have to do some more dating ones.
Ooh, totally.
Yeah.
I think it's a good one. But I love the idea of loss aversion. Is like, whatever you have in your lap, is that good enough? Is it good enough? Are you willing to spend your $5 on it?
And reach out to friends, reach out to somebody to talk about it. Don't try. I think when we try to make our own decisions about stuff like that, it can be really hard, because we're like, or you watch this video and you're like, I'm gonna leave my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't know what to do, don't do anything. And if you feel really confident about what you're about to go do, still talk to somebody.
Totally.
I feel like if there's any
Write
extreme,
it down.
just take some time with it.
I totally love that. Anything in extremes, I love that. The spectrum of everything. There's a 1 and there's a 10. If you're in a 3 and a 5, you're probably making the right decision. If you're in an 8 or 9, maybe wait till you're a 3 or 5 before you pull the trigger.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And pull the trigger is
numbers.
just make that decision.
Yeah, until you make that decision.
Finger guns, not real guns.
We'll have to put up, what did you call that thing?
Trigger warning?
We'll have to put a trigger warning in this one.
Trigger warning.
I still have to look that up, because I still don't know what that is before we post one of the other videos. But yeah, so think about when you stay, and don't leave in time, and talk to other people about it.
Mm-hmm.
Loss aversion, I just like that word. I like that there's a term for it.
Totally. Even though it's economics, I love it too. I think about gambling, I think about advertising, I think about all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's economics.
of course, right? So we're actually being tricked into not trusting ourselves.
Ooh, listen to that.
I know. Hashtag deep.
And on that note, hashtag deep. So if you guys want to look up any of the therapists that are working in the centered counseling, like in the office, who are all independent practitioners, you can go to centeredcounseling.com. It's CNTRD.com.
Awesome.
Centered Counseling, CNTRDcounseling.com. Or you can go to Psychology Today and just type in your zip code and find a therapist who you feel like you'd be a good fit with. There's usually pictures and bios, so that's a nice place to find
And
somebody.
sometimes have pictures of their offices if you're into that weird stuff. So.
Or pictures with animals if you feel like that's important.
That's true.
Yeah. Whatever's important to you.
Right.
All right. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.